Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. Sometimes you just need to read something that's going to warm your heart and make you feel all warm inside. That is the reason I picked up this book a few months ago, and the premise was simple, it was cozy, so I figured it would be a great way to settle down. And to see if I was right, stick around while I chat about Komi Can't Communicate by Tomohito Oda, translated by John Werry. Now, I will say that I wasn't sure how I'd feel when I was in the early stages of this book, but it didn't take me long to get right into it. Honestly, my fear was just that our male lead, Tadano, was either going to be a socially awkward sweetheart, or he would be supposed to be like that, but instead come across as a massive incel. Thankfully, there was no nice guy energy emanating from him, and it becomes clearer and clearer throughout that he really does just want the best for his new friend. Also, I will say, this is just to clear this sort of stuff out early, if you are reading it as I have done, which is all at once, you will start to notice that this is very clearly a compiled volume from something that used to be serialized, because at the beginning of each chapter there is a little catch up, and that can become a little bit just like, I know I just read that, but obviously if you were reading it in the original serialized form, then that wouldn't be an issue. So that's just something to bear in mind as you go in. But let's get away from complaints. For context, Tadano is new at a private high school. His first impression of a girl in his class, Komi, is that, first of all, that she's incredibly beautiful, and that her quietness is just sort of cool aloofness, and that seems to be the general feeling from the rest of the student body. However, when they end up just the two of them alone after class, it becomes clear that Komi is basically non-verbal and gets absolutely racked with panic whenever she tries to talk. He becomes the first person on her quest to make 100 friends, and by the end of this volume, she makes it all the way to 3. Now, while that doesn't sound like a lot, her getting to the point of having 3 friends really does feel like a huge achievement, and they all have their own awkward ways of trying to encourage her to to do better, to come out of her shell. And, you know, I might use this word a lot, but it's really heartwarming. And I'm going to use that word a lot because heartwarming is probably the single best word to use for this book. It had me all warm and fuzzy just throughout, and that's exactly what I want and I need from a book like this. I love this little ragtag group of nerds with maybe one brain cell somewhere bouncing about in between the 4 of them, but they all have their hearts in exactly the right place. Well, Agari does want to be Komi's dog, but at least she's got loyalty. Look, she's just happy to be there, and I love that for her. The whole school is full of little weirdos, and you know what? God bless them. And when Najimi sends Komi out to get an overly complicated coffee order, she's only doing that because she thinks it's like a kind of exposure therapy. Throw her into the deep end, and that might just help her out. I will say though, the panel, if not like the whole little 2-page part of Komi coming back with the wrong order and just crying, nearly had me welling up as well. Like, just look at her. I'm glad they immediately apologised, because she's just a little softie. Like, she really did her best. Like, she just tried so hard in that, and she thought of like trying to do it another way, and it just didn't quite work out, so she ended up with the wrong order, and they're immediately just so apologetic to her, like, no, you can't cry, no, you can't, no, I'm sorry. And I will say, I think all of them are convinced they're normal. I mean, Tadano literally keeps saying that he's like the most normal, he's so normal, which got me every time. If you have to keep saying that, even if it is just to yourself, it is a cope, but whatever helps you sleep at night, little guy. And I think my favourite thing is the way that Komi is portrayed in her awkward moments. Whenever she's super nervous, she's shown with like a round head and big bug eyes. It's so cute, and also the perfect depiction of what's going on. Actually, the best version of that is when she's like a statue as well, because that just perfectly shows what that feeling is if you are non-verbal. Like, there's a few panels where they're kind of scrungled up to show feelings, and I'll say it 1,000 times that that's one of my favourite things in manga. Either reducing clarity of a character or suddenly going suddenly detailed. Whatever. But doing that for comedic effect will always pop me, and Oda gets it so right. Like, I don't know, man. Sometimes you don't gotta say the quiet part out loud. Sorry, that wasn't intentional. But Komi is very clearly neurodivergent without ever having to say any kind of words in regards to that. And I love seeing that portrayed in the way that feels so right. Like, while she doesn't magically become able to talk to Tadano, it's very clear that just finding someone she can have a little bit of real comfort with means that she can eke out a little bit more than she could previously. And I'll say from my own experience, there is nothing more liberating than finding your people when you're neurodivergent. Finding, even if it is just that one person that you can go, there's a connection here that I cannot ever let go. Because when you have the realization that the person you're around is one of your people, then sometimes it can literally feel like a weight dropping off you when you can sort of drop the mask. Like, there are a couple of panels where all the busyness in her head is just made real around her, and that feeling of being overstimulated either externally or internally is shown so well. Like in this one here, like, it's just, first of all, you can see like that round head bug eyes combo, but more importantly, it's just so good at visually showing that feeling of being overstimulated. Overheating from too much chit chat is such a mood. If I'm overstimulated, I will feel like I've got prickly heat, man. I vibe with that something fierce. I want to put Komi in my pocket. She's so cute. They're all really cute. I will definitely be reading further into the series because, oh my goodness, it is so cozy, it is so comfy, it is so uplifting. I want to see the cast of characters grow. Her goal is to get herself 100 friends. And while I do have the feeling that it will become a case of her realizing that that isn't what she actually needs, I want to see her journey along with everybody else's. I have a feeling that it will become a case of her opening up to the small group and that being better rather than her actually getting the 100 friends. And yeah, like I said, I'm really excited for it. I won't be reviewing the rest of the series. If you've seen me review volume 1 of a series before, then you'll know that this is basically me saying, I'm bought in, yay. If you saw my recent Jujutsu Kaisen, you'll know that like it's the same in that one. I might review volume 2 if I ever do decide to read that with Jujutsu Kaisen, just to say, oh, actually, this one managed to buy me in. But if it doesn't, then I won't be making that video. But I should have my Bad Rep Book Club video out soon-ish. I've started scripting it, so fingers crossed that won't take me too long. Like, the scripting and the editing are always the longest parts of that. Well, the reading as well, but that never feels as long as scripting and editing. But if I have to do a few more short videos like this in the meantime, then so be it. Like, I'm still getting to read good stuff for the most part. Let me know what you've been reading lately that's had all your feels getting nice and warm and fuzzy. Also, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, feel free to ring that notification bell and all that other cringe shit I'm supposed to ask you to do in my videos. But most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourself. Right.